Today we come to week 18 of our journey through the Bible. We're on day 86. This week we will be looking at 2 Kings chapters 9 through 25 and 2 Chronicles 23 through 36. We're really covering a massive amount of history, 303 years. Both the histories of Israel and Judah are dealt with, and we're introduced to two powerful and terrifying world powers who will come to smash these two small nations. The theme of this whole section, I suppose, is very simple. Through the accounts of all the kings and the valiant prophets of God who withstood them, one great fact stands out. This is the report of the rapid and fearful corruption of God's chosen people over 3 centuries. The chapters in Kings and Chronicles alternate between Judah and Israel as we see both parts of the original nation sink deeper and deeper into sin and decay. The King's materials begins with Jehu, and it tells the story of personal failure. We're told how he turned against the worship of Baal. He smashed it with viciousness and deceit, murdering all the priests, and he burned the sacred stone they worshipped. He was certainly an instrument in God's hand, but he was a very proud man. His private life was corrupt. He's simply another reminder that God can cause and does cause his will to be accomplished through those who have no true faith in him. Over and over through the Bible, you will see many examples of evil men who had no idea that their actions were actually being used by God to accomplish his perfect will. Athaliah may be one of the lowest examples of evil in this whole section. Can you imagine a woman who murders her own grandchildren to protect her position as queen? She reigned over Judah for only 6 years. While we despise her, we admire Jehoshaphat, her daughter, who hid away her little baby Joash for 6 years in the temple. We applaud Jehoiada, the high priest, for his courage in arranging the assassination of Athaliah and the crowning of Joash as king. As you work through this whole section, a few thoughts to help you in that process. I think it might be helpful to go back to day 81 and look at that chart that chronologically lists the various kings of Israel and Judah, as well as the prophets. Trying to keep the names of those you're reading about identified with, whether they're from the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom, and which prophets and which kings lived at the same time is a difficult task sometimes, but it does help at certain points through the story. One more time, of course, remember that all the passages in Chronicles will focus primarily on what is happening in Judah. And the King's passages will primarily tell you what is taking place in Israel. Elisha is part of the picture through the end of Jehoash's reign. Tomorrow we'll talk about the prophets in this chaotic period. So you can look ahead, getting those thoughts together, that might be helpful. Our scripture portion for today is taken from 2 Kings chapter 13, verses 20 through 21. So Elisha died, and they buried him. Now bands of Moabites used to invade the land in the spring of the year. And as a man was being buried, behold, a marauding band was seen, and the man was thrown into the grave of Elisha. And as soon as the man touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood on his feet.